All right, guys, we'll get started. Get everybody back out into the lovely evening weather tonight as quick as you can. First of all, thanks so much for coming, guys, especially on a night tonight. I know it's tough to... I'm just teasing. Thanks so much for coming. I know on a night like tonight, it's tough to get out of the house, so we really appreciate it. Hootie and I were talking to a couple of the athletes right before everyone else got here, and just being here now is going to make you guys so much more comfortable in August. We were joking that middle August, early August, a lot of people are going to come out of the woodwork. This program is 450 athletes big. There's not 450 of you here today, so a lot of those athletes are going to come out in August, and you guys will then be the veterans of the First Timers program. So kudos to you for coming out this early in the year. You're going to get a lot of good information at this clinic. Hopefully you were here or saw the swim clinic online. We have 4 others after this, a whole bunch of great events. We're going to get into all that good stuff tonight. First and foremost, my name is Jacob. I'm an employee here at Live Grit. We have 5 team members here today, I think. We have Caleb, Gillian, Rashawn, Saban's in the back as well. We have a couple other team, Ian's here as well. We have a couple other team members who aren't here. We're hopefully all wearing name tags. Chicago Triathlon's represented by Hootie there. He's got his beer full and his hand up. And then we have a bunch of really cool coaches here whose names I never remember all of their names at the same time. But a lot of the coaches in the Chicago Tri stuff, Mary, Dave, they're all here. If you have coaching questions, they're going to be a wealth of knowledge for you as well. So the good news is we have a lot of people as in athletes, and we have a lot of people as experts as well. So a lot of your questions are going to get answered tonight, which is great. We are Live Grit, Chicago's laid-back endurance sports store. We do everything swim, bike, run here in the store. Full complement of bicycles, obviously, that eat up a lot of our sales floor. We have running shoes on the other side. We have wetsuits. We do everything service-related. We're a full bike shop. We have one of the best fitters, I think, in the country, and Ann now on staff. We do rental wheels. We do rental wetsuits. We do weekly swims, weekly bikes, weekly runs. I could give you a whole presentation on what we do, but we're here to learn about what you guys need to do this summer. So if you have any questions along the way, we're going to keep this presentation pretty short tonight. We're going to shoot for 20, 25 minutes. Depends on how long-winded I get and how good of questions you guys ask. We're going to break up into 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 groups at that point. What we're going to do is we're going to station people around the store. On the other side, we're going to have some of our team members and the coaches who will be answering training, clothing, cycling shoe questions. On this side, we're going to keep myself and Ann to answer any bike fit questions. And in the back there, we're going to have Caleb, who put on his Sunday best shirt for us today. Has a nice button down. No bike grease on it. Caleb's one of our fantastic technicians here, and he's going to be doing flat tire and bike maintenance demonstrations. Saban's going to be floating around answering questions on bikes and hard goods and things like that. So once we break out of this session here, you'll have a bunch of people to ask questions to. All right? Couple of firm rules we have here. Feel free to help yourself to the beer whenever you want. I had to make sure it wasn't overflowing. If you have a question, feel free to interrupt, raise your hand. All I ask is that we start to get to know each other's names along the way. We don't like saying, hey, you. So introduce yourself to the group. We'll have Triathletes Anonymous here and go forward from there. So any huge questions before we get started into the presentation today, guys? It's a little warm. Saban, can we kick the air conditioning down a degree or two? Cooler? Colder?
All right, I'm on.
It's hot. Thank you. So very quickly, we'll get started. And the technology works. It's my favorite day. So we start every presentation with the triathlon basics. How many people in here have done a triathlon before? Trick question, and you're all first-timers. We're going to swim, we're going to bike, and we're going to run. In that order every time. You can't do it yourself. You can't choose your own adventure along the way. You have to swim first. You have to bike second. You have to run third. We talk about distances. How many athletes are doing the sprint distance in here? Very cool. Any international athletes? All right. So I'm not going to recite the distances from memory because I seem to get it wrong every time. Hootie, what are our distances?
Well, I'll start with the Olympic or the international. It's a 1.5K, 1,500-meter swim, dialed in, exactly. 40-kilometer bike, also dialed in, and a 10K run. The sprint is half of that, so the sprint is a 750-meter swim. It's actually a little bonus on the bike. It's not the typical 12 and a half. It's about 15 miles on the bike course. And then it's a 5K run, 3.1 miles.
Value-packed race here in Chicago. You're getting a lot of race for your money. Hootie has a big role with Lifetime Athletic Events, who is the company that puts on Chicago Triathlon. His title always seems to be changing, so I'm not going to pigeonhole him into a title. But this is one of the greatest races in the entire world. Him and his team over at Lifetime do a fantastic job with this race. That's why we're so happy to partner with it. and we're going to have a lot of fun. You guys are going to be spoiled after this race. It's phenomenal. The world's largest triathlon, and at no point does it feel like it until you come into that finish line festival, and there's so many thousands of people hanging out. So it's going to be an awesome event end of August. Timing, race starts when you get in the water and the gun goes off. Time does not stop until you cross the finish line. The entire thing is time, transitions included. Your start, we're going to start in a wave of about 150 similar athletes. You guys are going to be in a wave start of other first-timers. And then we go into transition, which is transition 1 and transition 2. From swim to bike and bike to run, we call that the fourth sport of triathlons because it's its own thing. Our fourth clinic in this series is entirely on transitions. Any big questions on the basics? We're going to run you through some Chicago Triathlon specific stuff here in a minute. But we will answer any questions you have now. Hootie, can you come up here for a second? I'm going to make him do this part.
Bring my beer?
Yeah, bring your beer.
Okay.
Always bring your beer. I embedded your video in here so you can see the video. We will have Hootie run us through what this video actually entails because I can't speak as fast as the video goes.
It's really fast.
You got to talk fast, man. Are you ready?
Can we go full screen on it?
Let's see if it works.
All right, so aerial flyover, here we go. We're swimming in the lake, going south into the international long course. Short course goes straight north, exit right with Monroe Harbor. Transition. Can you hear me?
Oh, sorry.
Lakeshore Drive, we use both lanes, median lanes of the interior Lakeshore Drive, both northbound and southbound. Both distances go all the way up to Hollywood, the end of Lakeshore Drive, and turn around. Sprint distance ends at Randolph, and the international distance goes around Lower Wacker Drive, the Bat Cave, down the McCormick Place Busway, back into transition. And then the run course for the Olympic, the long course guys, goes all the way around the lakefront, museum campus, down to 31st Street, turns around back on the lakefront path, back around the aquarium, and then finishes at the same spot as the Chicago Marathon finish line. So Columbus and Balboa. If you guys are doing the sprint run, sprint distance, obviously, you turn around right about 18th Street, Soldier Field, and then back to the same finish line.
See, you could go fast enough.
No.
You went plenty fast. You need more beer after that?
No, I'm good.
So here's the stationary map. So we're talking about the bike course today, obviously, in our cycling clinic, but that is a quick run through of the entire race. If you do have any questions about the swim or the run, ask us privately. We're going to try and keep it strictly to the bike course. One of the coolest things about Chicago Triathlon is that you're going to ride on 3 roads that nobody else ever gets to ride on if you're doing the international distance. Going up and down Lakeshore Drive, which if you've ever ridden the lakefront path and keep an eye on Lakeshore Drive, it's a little bit different than the path. It's not a mirror image of it. And then you guys see Lower Wacker and the McCormick Busway as well at the international distance. So super cool. Somewhere we have a photo floating around that Lower Wacker looks awesome. Some really cool media from that. Any questions on the course or how it's going to work, anything like that, right out of the gate? Cool. We're buzzing right through today. If you have any questions, this stuff's going to be posted on Chicago Triathlon's website. It'll be on ours as well. How are you? So if you have any questions on it, let us know along the way. All right? Into the First Timers program for Chicago Triathlon, what you guys get from us and from Chicago Triathlon, and this is just specifically to the cycling aspect of everything. Our State Street service, which is a $120 tune-up, you guys get for $90. If you want to do our fitting, if you have a bike that you're getting retrofit, it's $300. You guys are going to get $75 off of that. Any new bike purchase from us, you can apply a free bike fit, and that includes retroactively. So I know somewhere Donald's floating around. He just bought a bike from us recently. Jessica just got a bike, so all of that's retroactive. And then tonight only, you guys are going to get 10% off anything in the store that's related to cycling, which pretty much is like not wetsuits or running shoes. We're really easily convinced on how you're going to use it for cycling. So if you're going to use the running shoes to ride your bike, make a play. Try and sell that to us. And then in the blue there, what we do here in the store that you guys can join in on. We have Sunday morning group rides, an awesome adventure. We're going to get into the details of that a little bit more. We have 20-mile option and a 45-mile option. We have some fun rides throughout the course of the summer that aren't workout oriented but are just a great time. You have access to our CompuTrainer studio, 1 block southwest of here at the corner of Monroe and Aberdeen. And On Your Mark Coaching and Training, we have an 8-studio CompuTrainer studio. You guys can join our classes. It's a great workout inside. Go ahead.
What does that mean? What's a CompuTrainer?
Awesome question. I go through these presentations every time and try and find words that maybe people haven't heard before. CompuTrainer is what you hook your bike into that's also hooked up to the computer. So a stationary bike at the gym, imagine your own bike plugged into a machine that we can add or subtract resistance to. You can do live course rides, a whole bunch of cool stuff. Essentially, it's a way to train indoors, not on the terribly uncomfortable spin bikes at the gym. So that'll make life a lot easier. Riding your own bike's huge because you get a little bit more fit and feel for it. And then riding the CompuTrainer indoors is huge because you don't have to stop for stoplights or traffic or worry about getting hit by a car or any of that terrible stuff. You can ride and get a pretty good workout in a short amount of time. And then last but certainly not least, you guys are going to get priority access to any of our fun rides that we do throughout the summer. And then in July and August, we do what we call our do-it-yourself triathlon. You guys can come out with us to Ohio Street Beach, piece together your own little triathlon. We set up a makeshift transition zone that you can leave your bikes in, and we'll watch it and stuff like that. So we'll get into the details of this stuff as we keep going through. If you have any questions on that, our entire staff knows all of these answers. So ask anyone who looks like they work here. The big thing that everybody gets into, we intentionally left this simple today. Last year's clinic, we had a much more in-depth slide, and it cost us like a half hour of questions. So we're going to keep it simple here. If you have any questions, let me know now. Otherwise, when we break apart into smaller groups, be sure to get those questions out to the staff here in the store. Most importantly, you need a bike and helmet. USAT rules says you need a freewheeling bike, which means you can coast the pedals, not fixed gear. And you need to have 2 brakes on it, and then bar plugs in the handlebars as well. Those are the only rules. We had someone come in today, drop their bike off for repair, and said, can I use this in the triathlon? Absolutely. It is the world's largest triathlon, or as I like to see it, is the world's largest collection of bicycles. You will see everything under the sun. Our bikes here in the store start at about $500 and go up from there. And you'll see everything from a $10,000 bike like the Cervelo P5 in the window there to mom and dad's bike we found in the garage and dusted off. So you need a bicycle and you need a helmet. USAT rules have changed. Yeah, go ahead.
What was that third thing that you mentioned after the brakes? The bar?
Bar plugs, yeah. So that bike doesn't have it. If you look at any other bike like this guy here, at the bottom of the handlebars there's an open hole. Every bike out of the manufacturer comes with a plug in that hole, or like if you have a mountain bike handlebar at the edges of that. But with time they kind of fall out or break. They have to be plugged, yeah. I assume in case you crash you don't shish kebab yourself with it, but I don't know. No impalements. See, I was right. Yeah, go ahead.
So you said no fixed gear bicycle?
No fixed gear, yeah. It can be single speed. You don't have to have gears. That's a common misconception. You don't need to have gears. You have to have the ability to coast, though. You can't always be moving. Caleb's fixed gear bike that he rides to and from university won't work because he has to always be pedaling. And then a helmet. USAT rules also changed their rules this year on the helmet. Anytime you're on your bicycle on race day, your helmet has to be on and buckled. So even if you're coming to the race, your helmet has to be on and buckled while you enter transition, after the race, when you leave transition, so on and so forth. They will not let you out of transition 1 without your helmet on and buckled. And in our transition clinic, we'll talk about hints and tips to remind yourself to buckle that helmet. They do let you out of transition 2 with the helmet on if you want to go running wearing your helmet. You see it every so often. You see someone leaving transition 2 with a helmet on. It's hilarious, and you kind of feel bad, but it happens. So this is, and we debate on staff all the time as to what is entirely essential and what's not. Bike and helmet is essential. You cannot do the race. You guys are in our program. There might be a handful of you who snuck into the Divvy Wave as well. They'll provide the bicycle for you. You do need to bring your own helmet, though. And then secondly, and in my opinion, second most importantly, is services and fitting. So if you do find a bike in the basement, if you've had a bike for a couple of years, we certainly encourage you to use it. Get it serviced. Make sure Caleb gets a look at it. Make sure it's tuned up, ready to go. You don't want the gears jumping around, the chain falling off, the brakes not working, things like that come race day. So get the bike serviced. Our tune-up packages start at $80 and go from there. We give free estimates in time and price. And remember, on the $120 option, you guys get $30 off. So get the bike in here, get it serviced. Right now we're sitting at around 4 days turnaround, so plan on not having your bike for a couple of days. But 1 tune-up a year is going to get the bike in pretty good condition for the whole season. And then fitting, we just brought Ann on staff, which everybody in our community, including our staff, is super excited about. Anybody in the triathlon or road biking world knows her from her experiences in fitting. I personally think she's the best in the city, and I'm also a fitter, so I'm so excited to learn from her. Get that bike fit. The body needs to work with the bicycle. Anybody who's been on a bike that doesn't fit, myself included, it kills you. It just tears you apart and you don't want to get back on it. Anne's going to ensure that it fits you right and feels right doing it. She's going to be right here after we break apart. So ask all your questions. She's a wealth of knowledge. Ask all your questions and she'll get them answered for you. But get the bike tuned up, get the bike fit for you individually. Flat kit and knowledge. It is not rocket science. I didn't go to 8 years of university to know how to change a flat tire really quickly. Everybody in here is capable of it. You need the stuff to do it and the ability or the knowledge to do it as well. It's super simple. Caleb's going to be in the back showing you guys how to do it. The bag that goes right underneath your seat, it Velcros in right here, holds everything you need. I think retails at about $55. You guys are going to get 10% off that tonight as well. That's a huge thing to have. Personally, if I'm riding down the lakefront path, somebody's got a flat tire, I'll stop and see if they need help. If they have the stuff for me to use and I don't have to use my own personal flat tire stuff, we're in action, we're in business. I'll help them out then. If I have to use my own stuff, I'm going to pretend like I don't know you and I'll just keep riding. But having that stuff's huge. Come race day, it is neutral support. There are people floating around. There's 7,000 athletes on that road at any one point. You're waiting for one of maybe 20 mechanics to swing by. You could be there a long time. Sitting down on the side of the road, taking a deep breath and getting your own flat tire changed. Super easy to do. If you're like me and you're OCD about how clean your hands are, they're going to get dirty, but you'll be ready to go and you'll be back riding in no time. So having the flat kit and knowing how to do it is huge, huge, huge. Clothing and shoes. Cycling clothing is a world different than anything else. Can make the bike ride a whole lot more comfortable. It wicks moisture or sweat away from you. There's pockets on it. It's cut to fit that way so when you bend over, the back of the jersey doesn't rip open on you. Triathlon clothing, same thing, is designed to be on the bike. Any sort of technical clothing's huge. Just please don't ride in like gym shorts and a cotton t-shirt. You'll be just as miserable as when you ride the bike at the gym. So get some sort of technical clothing. Triathlon kits start at about $60 a piece. You can get something that's going to fit a lot better and feel a lot more comfortable on the bike. And then the shoes, you can absolutely do it on flat pedals and gym shoes. We see people doing it all year long. Clipless pedals, which is funny because it's actually clipping in, is the system we use on clipless pedals where you lock your feet to the bike. It's going to increase comfort and efficiency of the rider. It's a little intimidating at first, but like everything else we do here, it's never intense, never intimidating. We'll put you in the trainer, teach you how to do it. It's entirely muscle memory. I raced my bike for 10 years. I got new clips and shoes on my bike, and I fell over in the street just like everybody else does. It's kind of a rite of passage in the cycling community. That's why we go to like grass fields and practice and get going from there. But it's going to make the bike ride a little bit more comfortable and a little bit easier for you along the way. And then last but not least, carbon things and aero things. Any of these questions I'll give to Saban, our bike guy. Carbon fiber is a really interesting term. Things get lighter, things get more comfortable, things get better manufactured when they're made out of carbon. Aerodynamics, they cut through the wind. You see those big helmets. We don't do a whole bunch of that stuff here in the store. We do have a lot of bicycles and accessories that fall into that category, but those are words you're going to see and hear in the triathlon world, so we're going to throw them out. Don't worry about them. You can know what they mean and not have to adhere to them at all. But carbon things and aero things are going to be all the rage this year, so I'm sure you'll hear those words again. Can you move those handlebars just a little bit for me, just back to straight? Yeah, perfect, thank you. Any questions on gear, guys? I know I buzzed right through that. But we're going to have staff floating around. That's all right. You can leave it. No big deal. Any questions on gear, though, guys? I know we have some. Yeah, what was your name?
Anna.
Anna, nice to meet you. What's going on?
Can you attach like toe cages or straps, or does it have to be clips?
Yeah, so like the spin bikes at the gym, there's toe cages on there that you can put your gym shoes in. Absolutely. Those will work just as well as flat pedals or clipless pedals, things like that. Absolutely. Any other big questions on this stuff? I just remembered something and now I can't remember it again. Yeah, go ahead. What's your name?
Hi, Cecile.
Cecile, nice to meet you.
Bars.
Yeah.
I see like long bars for triathlon.
Yeah.
Bikes. Do we have to have that, or?
Absolutely not. You don't have to have it. What we're talking about is these guys here, the flat bars that stick out, that's going to put a rider on their elbows and forearms rather than their hands. Those are called aero bars or triathlon bars. This is one of the world's fastest triathlon bikes up here. You can go fast in a triathlon without using this bike as well. Those aero bars or those tri bars can create a little bit more of a comfortable position for some riders. It can make the rider a little bit more efficient. You're more aerodynamic. There's that word. More aero cutting through the air. And like I said, most importantly, it can make it a little bit more comfortable. So you can always add those to a road bike as well. That's a really common thing for people to do. We sell a seat post that also moves. I'm going to steer you right back towards Ann now. On any bike we get aero bars, fit's even more important. We've eliminated half of our arm from the equation, so having those aero bars on there, make sure we get them put on by a professional and have them fit correctly. Any other big questions on gear, guys? We have like 2 more slides in 10 minutes. I think we can do it. Keep you guys from standing around too long with me. Our group rides, this is I think one of the best things we offer for new athletes. Getting out onto the A, open road, and B, near other cyclists is one of the biggest things. Come August, when you're doing the Chicago Tri, like I said, there's about 7,000 people out there. Lakeshore Drive, you guys have the 2 inner lanes. It's going to be fairly spread out. These guys are professionals at organizing races, so they try and keep you spread out as best they can. But there's going to be other people, and you're going to be near them on the ride. So getting out in a group ride beforehand is going to make life a whole lot easier. Saban's been working in the bike world here in Chicago for 15 years now. Rashawn's been doing it for 10. I've been doing it for 10. Our group ride's one of the friendliest group rides any of us have ever seen. And we're not just saying that because we work here, which I know it sounds like I might, but we're all cyclists and employees as well. So the group rides are A, very, very big, but more importantly, very, very friendly. So we have a 20-mile option, leaves from the store here at 8 a.m. They go towards the lakefront and south, anywhere between 10 and 20 miles. That's kind of a choose-your-own-adventure thing. Some people will turn around a little bit earlier than others. Typically, they all meet at Spoken Bird on like 18th Street to have a cup of coffee. And then the 45-mile route is all on roads. We leave here and go southwest down Ogden. We meet at the Shell station out on like Kingery Highway. Not as fun as the Spoken Bird Cafe. And then come back. Both rides are no drop. All paces are welcome. Everybody always asks us, well, how fast do you go? As fast as you guys want to. On the longer ride, we have what we call regroup points where any major turns are made. We all come back together. We have that turnaround at the gas station. And all we ask is that you have brakes and freewheel. So a lot of group rides in Chicago are very intense and very intimidating in that unless you have a road bike and you know how to paceline or echelon or all these fancy cycling words, you can't come. Come one, come all, come out and join us on our group ride. Aero bars and tri-bikes are welcome. We just ask you keep your distance from the road riders so we don't get tangled up or anything like that. This was our first group ride of the season this year. 30 athletes showed up. It was awesome. We had a great time. And then I know it's 11:30, but the beer keg's always cold, so help yourself when you get back from the Sunday group ride as well. Go to our website, livegrit.com/group rides. All this information's there. Yeah?
Say it again. What's a no-drop ride?
No drop ride means we don't lose anybody. A gentleman by the name of King once took a nap in a field, but we found him. And that's it. That's all that ever has happened. No drop ride. That's a good question. Other group rides say, okay, we're going to go from here up to Fort Sheridan on the north side and back. If you don't know the way, keep up, because we're not going to give you directions, and we'll see you if we see you. We don't do it that way. We tell everybody where we're going, how fast we're going, what to expect. We regroup so you're never truly by yourself. It may space out to where you're riding by yourself, but you'll see riders in front of and behind you. And we support the ride in an official capacity, so one of us is always there to help with any technical issues or mechanical issues, and to make sure King doesn't fall asleep in the field for too long. That is a 100% true story, by the way. He did fall asleep in the field. So if you have any questions on the group rides, check out our website there. It means you have the ability to pedal. You can't be fixed gear, which is when the bike can't stop pedaling unless the bicycle is stopped. I'm going to plug this in real quick. Our website, livegrit.com, has all the information we're talking about today. It's got a chat feature that comes directly here into the store to one of the staff members. If you don't have it yet, please, please, please get the LiveGrit mobile app. You guys have your own page and section on there as well. All of our events are posted. Like us on Facebook. All of our events are on there. It's like half my job to make sure the calendar is up to date. Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, maybe I wasn't paying attention, but both of these meet here at 8 a.m.?
8 a.m. right here. Yep, both of them meet here, leave at the same time. We just go different directions down Monroe here. Yeah.
So, not relative necessarily to this.
Sure.
But I was on the last group ride on Sunday,
Mhm.
which was awesome. I also found out that this Sunday...
Unpaid endorsement. I love
there's
it.
a
Yeah.
Bike the Drive
Yep.
event that they open up Lakeshore Drive, which I
Yeah.
absolutely signed up for right away.
Yeah.
I want to know what that route is like.
Sure.
Just
Anybody want
throw it
another
out
beer
there.
while it's up? Yeah, Bike the Drive this Sunday is great. We're not going to be there in official capacity. We have a lot of riders going. They're meeting here at some point in the morning. I don't know. Like us on Facebook. That's where they post all the stuff. All the athletes talk on our Facebook page. We have created a really cool community, and we're so excited to be a part of that community. And now they do their own stuff without us, like Bike the Drive on Sunday. So they'll be there. Our group ride's still going on this Sunday, even with the holiday. and with Bike to Drive. The only time we'll cancel the group rides or any of our outdoor activities is in Thunder and Lightning. Rashawn got to ride his bike down to the track to cancel track club tonight in the Thunder and Lightning. So rain or shine we'll go, cold or warm we'll go. Just lightning is the only thing that'll stop us. Yeah, go ahead.
The race will be canceled in extreme heat or something like that, or when will it try again?
So they're going to work under the E something system. What's it called? EA. I was going to say EMS, but Event Alert System, and they'll have essentially caution flags throughout the day, and this will all be gone over in your mandatory course talk that you'll go to either here in our store the week of, at the beach the week of, or at the expo Friday, Saturday. And different color flags mean different things.
The same as like a road race?
Running race is probably very, very similar. Yeah, green is all good, yellow is use caution, red is use extreme caution, black is the event is canceled. I don't think heat is one of the cancellations, is it? Maybe? Yeah, they're in charge of all that, so they'll tell you that weekend. Yep, they will do their very, very best to control the weather, so. Any other questions on the group ride stuff, guys? We have one last slide before I sick you on all the other people in the store. Yeah.
The dates for that, are they on the calendar for?
Yep. Yeah.
Both of them?
Yeah, they're on both of them. Everything. So it's only one event. Sundays at 8 a.m. Live Grit Group Ride. You can go on a 20-mile option or a 45-mile option. On our application, it's under the events thing. On the first timers page, it's on your calendar. On our Facebook page, it's on the events calendar as well. You don't need to sign up. You don't need to tell us you're coming. Sundays at 8 a.m., just show up, say hi. We will have the store open to use like a pump and things like that, but come prepared to ride. Don't come in like, hey, I need a tune-up real quick. That doesn't work that way. We're going on a ride at 8 a.m., and we are always trying to be on time, really, really drastically trying to be on time. We're like 2 minutes late every week. So 8 a.m. is when we want to get out of here, though. Any other questions on this stuff, guys? Awesome. Come on, technology, don't quit on me now. Cool. We're going to go through this quickly. These are going to be great, great questions to ask the coaches and then ask yourself throughout the course of the summer. But we get these questions a lot, so we want to address this issue. The differences or the ideas behind training for the cycle aspect of the race and the nutrition of the ride. On the training side, we talked about CompuTrainers. I'm going to remember that word. Not everybody knows that word right away. Training indoors in some capacity or training for the ride. We talk about long rides. Both the sprint and the international distance are distances that you should be capable of riding before race weekend. So you should have planned to ride that distance at least sometime throughout the course of the summer. Like I said, our Sunday morning group ride, 45 miles. We won't lose you. You'll come home. You might be a little sore, but you'll come home. So you'll be able to get that ride in. We talk about interval training or changing intensities. This is a great exercise indoors. If you have a trainer at home or if you use one of the CompuTrainers or even on the lakefront path, sprint for 10 or 15 seconds and then relax, and then sprint for 10 or 15 seconds and relax. It's going to build up a lot more endurance, make life a lot more comfortable for you come race day. And then this terribly nasty word at the end here, brick workouts. Has anybody ever heard of a brick workout before? In the triathlon world, it's the known evil. It's a 2 workout or a dual workout. So you ride and then you run, or you swim and then you ride. We have our do-it-yourself triathlons. Physiologically, the body undergoes a drastic change between all 3 sports. Swimming, we're like this. Cycling, we're like this. And running, we go forward like this. So the body's undergoing a lot of changes. Scientifically, there's no way to lessen that change. The body goes through those changes. Pro athletes, Ironman athletes, everybody goes through it. You just have to teach yourself what's happening. Learn to adapt to those changes. Any coach in here can tell you a crazy story about when they stood up in the water too fast and fell back in, or when they got off the bike and couldn't run for 5 minutes. So teaching yourself to do a brick workout, a ride and then a run, a swim and then a ride, a swim and then a run, whichever order it goes in, get your body to do 2 different workouts and force your body to make that mechanical change along the route. Yeah, go ahead.
Is that kind of like the feeling when you get off the treadmill and you walk?
Yeah, and it feels like the world's moving underneath you. Yeah. Yeah, when we're laid down in the water, all of our blood pools differently than when we stand up. It all rushes out of our heads, so we get lightheaded. When you're on the body, your revolutions per minute are about 90. And then when you start running, a good cadence is a lot lower than 90. So the cadence is off. The biomechanics of how the hips are swinging, things like that change. Anybody in the world will tell you that coming off the bike and going for a run is a drastic change. So we just need to teach the body how to do that. I read up on the science a lot because when I first started triathlons, I couldn't understand why I couldn't run at all. And I don't run very well outside of triathlons. I'm by no means am a runner, but it messes with your body a little bit, and you have to understand what's happening. Just like everything else we talk about, race day should not be the first for anything other than other people watching you do it, right? Everything we do on race day we have done before. We've swam, we've biked, we ran, we've used the clothing, we've eaten the food. We've done all this before. We're just putting it out for the world to see now. So, any other questions on training, guys? The coaches are going to be a huge value of information on this topic as well. Grit Endurance, our training partner, has some great triathlon programs, some great cycling programs as well. These guys have given you a 12-week written program that's on the website as well for you to download and apply to yourself. And our coaches, that half of the store is where you're going to ask all your training questions as soon as we're done here. On the nutrition side, we talk about solids and fluids. You can't, even at the sprint distance, about an hour, hour and a half, you want to get something in your body besides just water or just Gatorade. The bike's a great time to do it. Cardiovascularly, your body should be at a more comfortable point. You should be able to chew and eat and ride your bike a little bit more. I can't chew on the run. I start to choke pretty quickly. So I do it all on the bike. And then remembering fluids. We talk about intervals and nutrition, something to remind yourself to eat or drink. If it is terribly hot that day, you're going to need to consume fluids a little bit quicker than you would during training on a cooler day. But like I have my watch beep at me every 15 minutes, so I remember. Other people have used other tricks. Okay, on Lakeshore Drive, every time I go past an exit, I'm going to take a sip of water or something. An interval to remind yourself to eat and drink along the way. Whatever works for yourself. Yeah, Paul.
On solids, what you guys recommend? Protein bar, banana?
It's huge personal preference. We preface everything we say on the nutrition side with, I'm not a dietitian, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a registered nutritionist. Whatever works for you. Personally, I'm a big fan of, like, we have bonk breakers on the other side. We have little goo, they're called shot blocks or gummies that are over there. I'm not a big fan of the goo stuff. Any runners in the room know what that goo, it's like a bad applesauce almost. It tastes really terrible. I'm not a big fan of those, but some people swear by them. Yeah, see, Rashawn loves terrible goos. Yeah, they are easy to get down and they work. I mean, people talk about the reaction the body has to those. So a banana, yeah. Any solid food, remember, a solid food's going to take like 15 to 20 minutes to actually digest and get into the bloodstream, whereas a lot of the nutrition stuff we have on the other side is designed to break apart and get into you a lot quicker. So that'll help. Intervals, remembering yourself when to eat, and then last but not least, practice. Please don't make the mistake that a lot of athletes are going to make. This will be the first time they've had this to eat or that to drink. Stomachs are sensitive things, and you don't want to spend any of the race stuck in the bathroom on the side of the road or not feeling well at all. You need to train your body and undergo, in hot days, what is it going to feel like? In cooler days, what's it going to feel like? What does my body like to eat beforehand, the day before a workout? Have a dinner that you're going to have on race day. The morning of, have breakfast that you're going to have on race day, things like that. Yeah, Paul?
So just when you mentioned
Yeah.
the heat and the day that the race day, do we know at this stage at what time the first timers will start? Is it likely to be?
They usually go off right after sunrise. It's typically when they get in the water. They'll announce that stuff like a week and a half beforehand, 2 weeks beforehand.
So it's not likely to be midday, so
No, everyone's in the water and started before then. There's a good chance you'll be on the course around noon, 10 o'clock-ish. So you'll be in the sun at that point. We have a rule of thumb: eat like it's hot, dress like it's cold. You can shed layers if it's temperature too warm for you, and you can stop eating or drinking if it's not as hot as you think it is. But eat like it's hot, dress like it's cold. That's a pretty general rule. We'll be at the race beforehand in our Live Grit Queens Landing nutrition zone again. They have bananas and juice and chips and stuff for you there. Most of you guys are going to have about an hour between when transition closes and when you get in the water, so you want to put something in your body then as well. I use transition as like snack time in triathlons. That's where I keep a ham and cheese sandwich if I felt the need. In transition is where you can keep extra food to put into the body as well on the bike. But bicycles are great. You can put all sorts of bags and pouches on there to store all your stuff. And then you can I love cycling because you can move forward without working, right? Like you pedal and then coast and you're still going forward. On the run, you just sit down and feel shame. And mom asks you why you stopped, and it doesn't work well. So I like cycling. I come from a cycling background, so I enjoy eating and drinking on the bike more than the other two legs. Obviously swimming, you don't want to eat or drink anything in that lake. But on the run, it's a little bit harder as well. Yeah, go ahead.
Are there any, on the bike, are there any like aid stations out there, or you should bring everything on?
You are self-sufficient on the bike course. Yeah, there will be no support on the bike course, mostly because we don't trust 7,000 athletes to grab a water bottle while riding. So be self-sufficient. Even at the international distance, the course is short enough that you should be able to get everything on the bike. Most bikes have 2 water bottle cage mounts. You can always carry food in, like they call them bento boxes, little pouches that go behind your handlebars. You get 10% off of them today if you buy them today. You can carry food there. Triathlon clothing all has little pockets in the back that you can tuck stuff in. So you should be able to carry everything with you. On the run course, there will be some water stations for you in case you don't want to carry one of the handheld waters. Rashawn is the guy to talk to. He is self-sufficient in life. In all of his races, he packs on the water and the nutrition. I just pray there's an aid station somewhere. So ask Rashawn if you have any self-sufficiency questions on nutrition. You absolutely could. Yeah, Camelback. A lot of runners will have that on for hydration. Nathan Sports, a product we carry here in the store, makes some awesome hydration packs, either waist belt or handheld for the run course. On the bike, you can wear a Camelback or put a bottle on the bike as well. Absolutely, absolutely. Any questions on this slide here, guys? Last button, and it doesn't work. Dang it. That's the presentation I'm going to give you guys today. What we're going to do now is first I'm going to plug a couple more things before you leave, and then I'm going to introduce the people that will be floating around that you can ask questions to. Again, if you haven't downloaded our app yet, there's the First Timers program, has its own section with all of the information you guys need. These will be posted up there. Registration for the next events are up there, a calendar of events. Everything you need, any information you need from us on the First Timers program is there. Our app also has the chat feature in it. You can get a hold of us between 9 a.m. and 9 p.m. You can get a hold of us pretty darn quick through there. Our website, livegrit.com/firsttimers, is also a place you can go for all the information. Like us on Facebook, all the other social medias as well, if you don't mind. What I'm going to do now, Rashawn, raise your hand. That's Rashawn. He's very excited to meet everybody. Him and Gillian, if she's around. There's Gillian in the hallway. No one can see her. Him and Gillian will be on the other side of the store with the Lifetime coaches. Lifetime coaches, raise your hand. All the Lifetime coaches will be over there as well. They are going to be answering training questions, nutrition questions, cycling shorts, triathlon clothing questions. Caleb, raise your hand. That's Caleb. He's the fly. Yeah, he killed the fly. We had a fly all day, and he finally got it. The bearded fellow will be showing a flat tire demonstration every 20 minutes. So at 7:45. At 7:50, we're going to do a flat tire demonstration. Then 10 after 8, we're going to do another. Sabin, the other tall guy in the back, he will be answering any cycling questions you have, hard good stuff, bike questions. Myself and Ann, the shortest member of our staff back there, raise your hand real high. That's Ann. We'll be up here answering fit questions and any other bicycle-related stuff you guys need. Please, please, please help yourself to more beer if you need it. Water's on the other side. We have a picture of it over here as well. Thanks so much for coming, guys. It's going to be a great summer.